I'm looking for Kasie Hines. She's wanted in connection with a murder.
Murder?
Man, oh my God, McGee. They're using my own Invention against me.
NCIS just gave Kasie Hines the episode she has deserved for years. And honestly, after 16 years of watching her quietly be one of the most brilliant people in that building, watching the entire team drop everything to fight for her was one of the most satisfying things season 23 has done. But this episode was not just about clearing Kasie's name. It was about something much bigger. And that ending, what Kasie does with Edna in the final minutes, is something I am honestly still thinking about. Let's talk about everything that happened in Bad Impressions, what the Edna reveal actually means, what we learned about Kasie that we never knew before, and most importantly, what only 2 episodes left before the season 23 finale means for everything still unresolved. First, Edna. Because this is the heart of everything. Kasie did not just build a forensic program, she spent 16 years building it. She started it in college in 2010, never finished it, brought it with her to NCIS, and kept working on it quietly in the background for all this time. And what she built is genuinely extraordinary. Edna is a suspect profiler. It takes a fingerprint, any fingerprint, whether it is in the system or not, and extracts genetic markers from it to identify a suspect. And it works in reverse. It can take genetic markers and fabricate a fingerprint, which means in the wrong hands, it does not just solve crimes. It manufactures them. It frames innocent people with physical evidence so convincing that no lab in the world would flag it as fake. And I honestly cannot think of a more terrifying program to have stolen, which is exactly what happens. The moment Kasie completed Edna, the moment she was finally ready to sell it for potentially billions, someone stole it, and then they used it against her. Kasie's own fingerprint appears on a murder weapon. Her own creation is used to frame her for a killing she had nothing to do with. And the team she has spent years supporting has to turn all of their skills toward proving that the evidence pointing at one of their own is a lie. Sam Hanna is still in the building when all of this starts. And this is where the episode does something I genuinely appreciated. Instead of making Sam the center of the story again, the writers use him specifically and purposefully. He drives Kasie to upstate New York to track down who knew about Edna and who would want revenge. He gives her the kind of calm, steady presence someone who is scared and angry needs, not a hero moment, but a human one. And when the takedown comes at the end, he is there not because only Sam could have done it, but because Sam happened to be in the right place at the right time. Which is actually how guest appearances should work. I will be honest, some fans felt Sam was not used well enough in this 2-parter. But I think what this episode understood is that Sam Hanna does not need to save the day to remind you he can carry his own show. He just needs to be in the room. Now let's talk about what we learn about Kasie in this episode, because this is what I will remember most. Kasie has been running from relationships her entire life. The episode introduces Joanna, an old flame, someone Kasie genuinely loved. And through that relationship, we understand something about Kasie that the show has never said out loud before. At some point, Kasie decided her legacy mattered more than her happiness. She decided that Edna, something people would remember her by, was worth more than being with someone who made her feel whole. And she lost Joanna because of that decision. And she has been carrying that loss quietly ever since. I honestly loved this detail because it reframes every moment of Kasie we have seen across this entire series. She is not just brilliant and funny and slightly chaotic. She is someone who made a choice years ago that cost her everything she actually wanted. And this episode is the first time we watch her truly reckon with that. Meanwhile, Palmer is terrified. He has known about Edna longer than anyone on the team. And when the rest of them find out, Torres, Knight, McGee, they look at Kasie differently, just for a moment, just long enough to hurt. And Palmer notices it. He pulls people aside and tries to fix it. And watching Brian Dietzen navigate that, the quiet panic of someone trying to protect his friend from the judgment of the people she trusts most, was genuinely moving. Torres, in particular, takes a while to get there. He goes on for too long about a dinner he took Kasie out to and how she should have paid. And I will be honest, it did not land the way it was meant to. Torres has been the comic relief of this team for years. And this episode reminded me that comedy only works when the character underneath it has grown. And Torres has some growing still to do. But here is what this episode is really about underneath all of it. Legacy. What we build and what we leave behind, and whether those things are worth what they cost us. Kasie spent 16 years building Edna because she wanted to be remembered for something extraordinary. She wanted a legacy bigger than the forensic lab at Ncis. And the program she built is genuinely extraordinary. The kind of forensic technology that could change law enforcement forever if used correctly. But it was also used to kidnap a family. It was used to get Daryl killed. It was used to frame her for murder and compromise national security. And at the end of this episode, after everything it cost to get it back, Kasie deletes it. She destroys 16 years of work, not because she is told to, because she decides to, because she finally understands that the legacy worth having is not the program. It is the people. It is Palmer worrying about her in the hallway. It is Sam driving her to upstate New York at midnight without being asked. It is McGee and Knight and Torres looking at her across that bullpen and choosing to believe in her before they have a single piece of evidence telling them they should. That is the legacy Kasie Hines has actually been building for years. And I honestly think this is the most important episode this character has ever had. Now, what comes next? Season 23 has 20 episodes total. 2 episodes remain after this one before the finale. The director's chair is still empty. The mole storyline is still unresolved. And the question of who becomes the new director of NCIS is going to define how this season ends. The promo for episode 19 already suggests the stakes are about to get significantly higher before they get resolved. And I honestly cannot think of a better position for this show to be in heading into its final 2 episodes. NCIS airs every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on CBS. You can stream it live on Paramount Plus Premium or the next day on Paramount Plus Essential. And season 24 is already confirmed, renewed back in January, so whatever happens in this finale is a beginning as much as it is an ending. Drop a comment and tell me, did you think Kasie was right to delete Edna? And do you think Joanna is going to come back before the season ends? Because after everything that episode told us about what Kasie gave up for that program, I think that story deserves one more chapter before season 23 is over.